So even when we think about the word him, right, we start to look at it and say, okay, him in the aspect of what everybody's feeling like now and speaking into existence now is, yeah, I'm the one, right? Shout out to Gunna. I'm him. I'm special. I'm somebody that's on top. I'm somebody that's out of this world, out of this league, right? Alien to this world. I'm different. You feel me? And Gunna's been doing a great job on expressing that aspect of him, of being him, because essentially he transformed his whole world when he went to jail. He literally looks and is sounding better in his music based off of his darkness experience that he went through. And he's telling you, hey, look, I'm him. I'm the one, the last one of one, right? And he's speaking it into existence, one, but then two, he's actually carrying it out the example by his uh, work that he's putting in. The work, the work, the work. And it's a beautiful thing to see examples of this because that's what we're talking about. If you're trying to become him, you got to go through a process, an alchemical process that is turning water into wine or dust into gold, right? And essentially, you got to realize that it's not an easy gestation period to make that transition happen. There's going to be uncomfortable moments. There's going to be difficult times. But the beautiful thing about it is when you come out of it, you'll become a butterfly. If you trust and believe in it. So I've been seeing so many different signs and symbols in the trailer that I was like, all right, fuck it, Dream, go ahead and just do it now. Because again, I know people ain't really seeing it. And I think it'll just be helpful before you watch the movie. It says Isaiah is a major prophet. So this dude, Marlon Wayans, his name is Isaiah White. Isaiah White. And Isaiah in the Bible is a major prophet in the Old Testament of the Bible. He is known for his prophecies about judgment, redemption, and the coming of Jesus, the Messiah, the Christ consciousness one. Now remember, the books in the Bible are allegories, they're myths, they're stories to give you an example of energies. It's only explaining energy. So these people never existed. They're giving you an idea of a story in the form of what's inside of you and who you actually are. So Isaiah White is essentially like what you would say, like a pure consciousness one, right? When you talk about white, white is symbolic of his last name being white. It's symbolic of pure consciousness, light. You feel me? So this says the book of Isaiah, which bears his name, contains 66 chapters. What a coincidence. 66 chapters. And is one of the longest books in the Bible. It is divided into two main sections. Okay, 66 chapters. So we got to keep an eye out for that 66 and understand that it's part of a bigger idea than just numbers in the book. Here we go. So when you look at it, right, you can obviously tell that there's two different things going on. Cam, the quarterback, the college quarterback, he's obviously holding his arms as like he's on a cross, like he's been crucified, like he's been, um, you know, been trained on, put on a cross, like he's Jesus, right? And then Marlon in his cover, he's looking more demonic, red eyes, right? One eye is open, slightly open. You feel me? He's holding his hands in a position where that pinky finger is broken down. And I'm explaining all of that right now. I'm explaining the whole title, him, everything, right? And hey, this is one of those, so y'all gonna want to understand it to the core. And one of the aspects that Jordan Peele does is he tried to give you the play without giving it to you, right? In the words of what he said. So he didn't give out much, but he gave out just enough for my ass to catch it. You feel me? It says greatness demands sacrifice. That's one thing. Greatness demands sacrifice. Sacrifice, right? So we understand that. And then on Marlon's thing, it says, never meet your heroes. Never meet your heroes. So in one of the shots, they showed Cam, the quarterback, looking at a poster of Marlon as probably a powerful NFL quarterback back in the day and things of that nature. And Cam was looking up to him as like, oh shit, this is my hero. You feel me? And essentially they're saying never meet your heroes, right? So then we look at it again and we understand that it's Jesus and the devil in two different ideas, but we're gonna walk this down into what Bobby used to say. What if the God you know is actually the devil? Baphomet, don't worry, I'm gonna prove all of this stuff right now, baby. It go down, go God, yeah, that's me. Sitting on top of the world, baby. We here. Chaos in the blood. So there's a different play that's happening when we look at this thing from a vacuum and see how Jordan Peele is going to move in this decode. Because obviously you got the twin energies happening, right? Heru and Set. And then you also have aspect of devil and Jesus on your shoulder, or hero and villain, which they do in all movies, right? But now we just got to understand one might be with Jordan Peele, he tries to act like he's going to give you it, and then he'll reverse it. You feel me? So if we're going with the reverse, it's looking like Marlon is actually the hero, right, of the story, and then, or the protagonist, and then Cam might be the villain, right, or the antagonist. But at the same time, at the end of the day, the covers doesn't tell you that, because the covers is saying he's Jesus and Marlon is the devil, right? So we shall see. But one of the aspects that is dealing with heavy is the aspect of the mind. So understand that the mind is going to be a big play in this movie as well. You feel me? When we think about the mind, we're talking about the masculine and feminine, the left brain and right brain hemispheres of the brain, right? Your feminine energy, which is your creative, more intuitive, more spiritual mind, right? Your right brain. And then your left brain, which is keeping you in a logic, strict, constructive place in the world, right? Now, both of them are needed to become holistic, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we understand that we are supposed to be more intuitively driven in this thing. And that intuition is another sight, is your first eye, right? Your right brain, your creativity, your spirit, your ability to see symbols, your telekinesis powers, right? All them clairs and stuff like that. We're talking about your ability to feel. So the thing with females is they have this ability to feel, right? They have this ability to sense and feel, right? Your mama knows when you're in danger. You up out at night, and you know she don't call you some nights, but that one night she calls you, she know you're going to jail. Damn, I know it. That's because she's intuitively inclined to feel first. You feel me? The melanated goddesses. Now, with that understanding, you know what I'm saying, we got to put into account how the world has tricked us into being more left brain prisoners, right? Left brain thinking, logical, rational, not really using our sixth sense, our ability to feel into situations instead of think into situations, which is a logical pursuit, which is messing people up. Because again, you remember when you think about it, whenever things happen for you, you be like, damn, I didn't know it was going to go that way. Wow. You're trying to think your way into a situation instead of feeling your way into the situation, right? And the feeling is just you being present in the now so you can receive these gifts, these presents. So the feeling is more so about letting spirit channel to you as you're being yourself, being in the world, being now, being present, right? And the power of now is very important because, again, it gets you out of the back and forth monkey brain, thinking about the past, worried about the future, which doesn't exist. Both sides don't exist. So the only thing you got to do is bring it back to the center and be present right now. And then all the channels, downloads, informations will come to you heavy. That's how I got this decode. Because I'm just now. And then, oh, that's it. Oh, thank you, Spirit. I got it. I wasn't thinking about this movie. It just came to me because that's how Spirit communicates to you. It communicates to you in these whispers. So if you're in your brain, in your head heavy, thinking about the future and worried about the past, then you're not alive. That's what they're doing with y'all now with this alien coming in November. Hey, look, the alien is coming in November. They watch it. Alien November is coming. We see the ship. It's coming. Then November gonna come in and be like, oh nah, that was actually a asteroid that just missed us. It was there though. It was almost there. Watch what I tell you. It's gonna be that same play, and you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, damn! It just missed us. That was a spaceship, though." Yeah, that's a space. They try to keep melanated people out of their power, out of their sun power. Right now, it's important for you to get into the sun. I just dropped my kids off to school, first day of school. They're taking the kids and putting them back in these classrooms to shield them from the sun. Because again, you will receive more bliss, more power as you're outside, being in nature, receiving these negative ions as power. Because again, everything is about feeling, right? They said the ancient world was like a young melanated teenage girls, right? Girls, them girls that play, they're in this feeling, they're into their music, they're into their hair, they're into themselves heavy, right? They're into a feeling mechanism. And that's where you're supposed to be. You feel me? You're supposed to be in that zone of, okay, I'm in rhythm, I'm in this beat, I'm in this kind of sphere and this kind of energy, right? And I'm gonna explain it because melanin is a big play in this whole movie. The whole movie is about melanin, and I'm gonna explain it right now. Okay, so on his rings it says SOS in Morse code. SOS is represented as 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots, 333, right? 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9, right? Or we could look at it in different ways, which I'm about to show y'all now. But SOS can also be in the aspect of, they say the son of Sam or saving our souls, right? All of these different things that line up to this Christ consciousness thinking. You feel me? So when we're talking about the sun, remember, the sun is a metaphysical metaphor for your sun inside, S-U-N, the sun inside. So the sun is just represented as Christ consciousness. The sun is represented as light, as you being Heru, as you being the light, right? When the sun, so with Heru being the sun, they would show a sun disk. You feel me? So then with Set being, the quote unquote uncomfortable devilish one, they would show the moon, right? But then we also know that the moon is also feminine and the sun is actually masculine. So now, which way do we go? Which way does the rabbit hole go if we're supposed to tap into our divine feminine, right? So it gets tricky and it gets interesting. But if you just step back and examine this stuff in a vacuum, you'll start to understand what the bigger meaning and plays is when you go through the story. So like I said, 2 hemispheres of the brain, their brains connecting is basically showing 2 hemispheres or 2 different sides of the brain, right, happening. They try to show it in the skull with the brain scan type thing, right, in this part of the trailer. Boom, here we go again. Marlon or Isaiah White, right, with the horns or with the field goal post as horns on his head, right? But we know that the horns on your head is actually something divine. You feel me? And when we're talking about pineal gland or seeing yourself from a different lens, right? So remember, Baphomet is a multi-level symbol that's describing your spiritual work, right? And in this spiritual work, it's important to understand why you're doing the spiritual work so you can sit on top of this world, right? Like he's sitting on top of the world. You feel me? Goat God, yeah, that's me. So he's in a meditative pose. That means he's in peace about the world. He's in the world, but not of the world, right? He's sitting on top of the world. Kundalini energy, right? With the Pina and Pingala spiraling up. Masculine and feminine energies with the breast and the phallus. The wings is astral travel. He's pointing in as above, so below, right? That means you're seeing your symbols in the waking world, right? And he's a goat, which means you're him. Because the goat is the only one that's on top of the mountain. The sheep are the one that's following the goat herder or the sheep herder. And then also the pineal gland or the horn or the fire is the pineal, right? Rising up. You feel me? So understand this is a powerful symbol for the gods to understand as spiritual beings. And if you're not with it, then I suggest you get with it ASAP, because this is about your spiritual work and your spiritual plight on this thing. And as I go through this hymn movie, y'all going to see how far the rabbit hole goes with them showing him. Goat God, yeah, that's me. Chaos in the blood, baby. All right, so boom. So then the stitching on the football is actually left and right hemispheres of the brain as well. You feel me? So that's the same thing that we got to understand. Greatness demands sacrifice. So what are you willing to give up in order to become him, right? Or this goat God? You feel me? Look at Marlon's bars again, the field goal bars again around his head. You feel me? Then Cam also in the red looking kind of devilish, right? There's so many different plays that's happening here that we got to pay attention to and grab into. You feel me? So remember, Jesus and the devil are the same thing, right? There's not no bad guy, right? You have to have destruction to have construction. Out of darkness comes light. Out of darkness comes light. So Set and Horus is actually one. Satan, get behind me. It's just Set being behind you. Like that's your darkness, your dark times that you went through to become one, to become Heru, to get onto your hero's journey, right? As a matter of fact, I just seen a video on that where they talked about Set and well, I'm gonna play that video. You know what? Let me play this Bobby video so we can get deeper into the darkness, if you will, because again, we got to understand to the core what's actually happening during these times, these serious rising times, and then also just understand why it's important to tap into your divine feminine energy in this particular time, which is the darkness. Hold on, let me share screen. Check this out. The hitman, Bobby.
She's Kali. In Hindu, she's Lilith. In Hebrew.
Oh, shoot. Hold on.
You see, and Apep in Egypt, there's several aspects of her. And so this chaotic and terrorist force, the same force that the government is fighting against now and telling you it's some Arabs running around here, is this energy of Kali, the Kali Yuga, Kali, the destructive, the destroyer. Each woman has this primal force in her, and it's not evil in the aspect of what you think of as wicked. It's chaos. You see what I'm saying? And every moon monthly, this chaos shows itself when the cycle comes on. You see what I'm saying? The PMS is a remnant of the goddess, saying ultimately, I hold the destructive energy and the destructive power. So the concept here is Shiva has to learn how to cultivate these powers, and understand that these are forces of the universe that has to come into play. This girl here is a demon on wheels. A demon from hell. And I only see that force. It rears itself in a matter of seconds and it goes dormant. Pray I don't get a damn hour of this shit. It'll be over with. But it's just split seconds. It's never been over a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. You know, but I see the eval. Now, for you people that don't understand, I have to have a disclaimer for people who just joining us for the first time in the consciousness. This is for advanced people to try to understand the destructive forces of Kali and ultimately the ultimate aspect of woman.
Yes, the great hitman Bobby Hemmings. So yeah, it is kind of for advanced people, but I will break it down. So remember, destruction is just a part of the journey that you came down here to be in, right? So again, like I was saying, you're never going to know how you're going to manifest that thing in your world. You can't logic your way out of it into the thing. It's going to happen based off of you being in tune with spirit and just following the mode operandi that spirit is putting you in, because it's always something that you're just moving into. So if you're trying to logical your way into this thing, that's not how it's going to happen. You see, so for instance, like you're trying to save up to buy something for your business that costs $2,000, right? You're like, all right, I'm gonna just work extra hours, right? Boom, you're working extra hours, but the money is not coming in the form of what you're thinking, right? It's you actually spending more money, taxes is hitting you, whatever, right? Sure enough, spirit hits you, says, hey, go to this casino. Now all of a sudden you hit the lick at the casino, then you got the money to, oh shit, I hit 1,800. Now I can pay for the thing that I wanted. Or you get in a car wreck and then, oh, this dent ain't that bad. Oh shit, now they gave me 2,500 for the dent. Fuck it, let me Now I can invest in this thing. So you see what I'm saying? It's never going to logically line up. This world is not built off of logic. This world is built off of feeling, moving how the wind blows, how the trees are moving, right? The feeling of this senses, the sixth sense, right? It's an invisible intelligence that you want to get in tune with, because again, when you're trying to use ego and the logic, you're trying to force the outcome. But when you're relaxed and in your zone, things start coming to you. The problem is you just don't trust it. So with divine feminine women, right, they're in their bag. They're not trying to force a motherfucking thing. You feel me? They don't have no kind of let me force. They move off of feelings, right? You just look at your female and just see. You be like, damn, she was just happy an hour ago. Now she turned the fuck up. She mad at the bitch. What happened? You feel me? Or she'll be doing one thing and then all of a sudden she'll be watching the butterflies and the birds fly and shit. And you be like, wait, what? You done changed up our whole conversation that quick. That's chaos, right? That's beautiful. And that's something that we all need, because that means they're in the now. Divine feminine women anyway, right? The women that are super masculine, they're trying to get logical thing done, then that they're out of their sync, out of their flow. And then that's when you see the female that works a career, 50, no kids, principal, president of this company, but don't have nothing to go home to and actually nurture and grow into making this eternal life. Because they actually came down here to go through that birthing process. It's a ritual for them to go through that process and to see the beauty in the beast mode at the same time. Because remember, birth is destructive, it's horrible, it's painful, right? But then there's also a beautiful child that's being birthed that's going to carry out your lineage and DNA, which is eternal life, which is the So I want y'all to understand that to the core, that the divine feminine is real, and that's the power that this thing is. So now, all of a sudden, getting back to Set and Heru, right? Remember, it's just all one thing, without darkness, there is no light. You feel me? And that's important in both aspects of left and right brain thinking, right? You gotta move into the space of balancing the hemispheres of the brain, which is in this show. It's the same thing. It's the mirroring effect, right? You can see Marlon, he's looking at Cam, or Isaiah is looking at Cam, and there is a reflection. It's a mirror, right? If Cam is supposed to be, let's say, the Jesus figure, then Marlon's supposed to be the devil figure, then really them looking into each other's eyes is the same thing. It's the same Set in Horus, right? Or Jesus and the devil looking in each other's eyes, right? But remember, darkness is not bad. Darkness is actually you going into the subconscious mind realm. You feel me? And pulling out information. So when you're in that space of saying that means you're in the darkness. You don't know. But then it's going to come out with some light, which is Jesus. Oh, boom. Now I speak and put it down correctly. You feel me? So that's the darkness, right? When you close your eyes and go to sleep, you're going to the dream realm, right? And the dreams are giving you messages, clues, information about what? About what you're going through in this particular time, or what you're trying to look for, or what you're looking answers for, right? The answers you're seeking is in the messages in these dreams. When you go into meditation, it's in the messages in the darkness, right? You sit in a room for 3 hours in dark. I promise you're going to come out with an answer. You don't even need 3 hours. I'm just pushing the envelope, because some people might just be in there in the thinking mode. But eventually that darkness will set in, and then you'll start to see some light, or light is what? Information. So you'll start to see the information come into the fold of what your journey is supposed to be, or what's been on your heart or your mind. So this is an important concept for us to understand to the core, right? And understanding that Marlon and Cam, or Cam and Isaiah, looking in each other's eyes is just the same image, right? It's the same twin image that we see in all these movies, or the hero, villain, or villain hero, but they're all one. It's all one thing. You feel me? Now, this is the key to the movie, and this is the whole movie. This is him right here. This is it. So now, as you can see, that says 3, 6, 3, 6, and BI is 6. So 3, 6, or 30, or well, just 3 6s, right? So that's 3, and the BI is 6. Now, what does that look like? Yeah, y'all know what it looks like. It looks just like him.